Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel of ASH, Faculty of Engineering and Technology. My name is Kaumudi Singh, Assistant Professor in Professional Communication. In today's video, we are going to discuss about dimensions of speech. Talking about speech, the most basic unit of speech is a syllable. A syllable can be defined as a unit of sound with one vowel sound and with or without consonant sounds. A syllable could be the sound of a vowel that is created when pronouncing a word. A syllable is a part of a word that is pronounced with one uninterrupted sound. A syllable is a unit of sound which can be pronounced with a single effort of the voice. For example, if we talk about the word water, it is composed of two syllables, wa and ter, as we have to make two efforts to pronounce these words. Syllables are ways to split words into speech sounds. For example, spelling has two syllables, spelling. Computer has three syllables, computer. Words can be divided into three types as per numbers of syllables. The first kind is monosyllabic, words with one syllable, for example on. Then we have disyllabic, words with two syllables, for example upon. And words with more than two syllables, which are known as polysyllabic, and they will have more than two syllables. For example, syllable itself, which has three syllables. So this was the idea of what speech and syllable is. Then we move forward to the dimensions of speech. And when we are talking about the dimensions of speech, the dimensions will include accent, pitch, rhythm and intonation. Starting off by accent, it is the way of pronunciation for the viewers to learn and keep this in their mind, that when you hear the word accent, you are going to relate it with the way of pronunciation. Accent is the way of pronouncing the words of a language that shows the person belongs to which country, area or social class. When we are talking about these three categories, it actually relates to the domain of sociolinguistics, which states that an accent is a manner of pronunciation peculiar to a particular location, individual or nation. An accent may be identified with the locality in which its speakers reside, which is a regional or geographical accent, the socio-economic status of its speakers, their ethnicity, their caste or social class, which makes a social accent, or influence from their first language, which is a foreign accent. Accents typically differ in quality of voice, pronunciation and distinction of vowels and consonants, stress and prosody. Although grammar, semantics, vocabulary and other language characteristics often vary concurrently with accent, the word accent may refer specifically to the differences in pronunciation, whereas the word dialect encompasses the broader set of linguistic differences. Therefore, we can conclude by saying that accent is a subset of dialect. It is important for the English speakers, and also if you abide by second languages, to learn the right pronunciation like that of the native speakers. You must watch the native speakers in action. It should not look like affected accent or fake accent. Many times you do not give importance to pronunciation, and that makes your speech seem below par. Children are able to take on accents relatively quickly. Children of immigrant family, for example, generally have a more native-like pronunciation than their parents, though both children and parents may have a noticeably non-native accent. However, these generally differ. The parent's accent tends to be influenced by the sound of system of their native language, and the child is more inclined to apply hyperpronunciation resulting from their need to correct their parents' shortcomings in fluency. Accents seem to remain relatively flexible until a person's early 20s, after which a person's accent seems to become more fixed. Therefore, accent is dependent upon age as well. Moving forward to the next dimension, which is pitch, and it is the dimension which is directly related to loudness. Pitch is a property that allows the ordering of sounds on a fluency related as well as frequency related scale. Pitches are compared as higher and lower. The rise and fall of the voice conveys various emotions. For example, thank you is a phrase. You can find out difference when you utter it indifferently and when you say it with sincerity. Lowness of pitch can indicate sadness, shock, dullness, guilt, so on and so forth. If you are excited, joyous, you are feeling triumphed and even angry, then your pitch automatically becomes high. A well balanced pitch results in a clear and effective tone. It helps you to avoid being monotonous. Therefore, pitch will help you to break the monotony which is prevalent in your speech. A variety of pitch should be used to hold listeners' attention. Avoid raising the pitch of the voice at the end of the sentence. So whenever we are concluding a sentence, we actually fall the loudness so that it seems that you are going to conclude. Therefore, we avoid raising the pitch of the voice at the end of a sentence. After pitch, the third dimension of speech is rhythm, which denotes the sound pattern achieved by using stress in words. Rhythm refers to a pattern of sounds. Maintaining a rhythm in a speech makes the speech sound natural and fluent. Rhythm is produced by stressed and unstressed words in a sentence. Using only the stressed words in the sentence may make a speech sound dull and artificial. The listeners may also not understand the intended emphasis or meaning in the speech. Just as stress, speed is another very important factor in the fluency of English. When we speak, we do not speak words in isolation, but group them and speak without any pauses between them. To achieve good rhythm in speaking, we should know which words to be stressed and which are not to be stressed in a sentence. This leads to one or more of the following conclusions. Rhythm is not primarily expressed by patterns of duration. The person to person and paragraph to paragraph variation within a language may be much larger than expected. Perhaps linguists may have idealized the form of each language, neglecting the variations. Moving ahead to the fourth dimension, which is intonation. which denotes variation of pitch or loudness of the words in a sentence. Intonation in a language refers to the patterns of pitch variation or tones it uses in its utterances. In normal speech, the pitch of your voice goes on changing constantly, going up, going down, and sometimes remaining steady. Different pitches of the voice combine to form patterns of pitch variations or tones, which together constitute intonation. Intonation is closely linked to stress because important changes in pitch occur with stressed syllables. The following are the main functions of intonation. The first one is distinguishing between different types of utterances such as statements, commands, requests, and question. Second point is differentiating the speaker's emotional attitude such as curiosity, apprehension, friendliness, and politeness. And the third is drawing the listener's attention to those segments or sections of an utterance that one considers important. So these were the 4 important dimensions of speech. There is one more important aspect to it, which is the paralinguistic feature of voice. The word para means beyond, and linguistics refers to the scientific study of language. Therefore, when we are talking about features which are beyond the lexical component of language, that will come under the umbrella term of paralinguistic features. Paralinguistic features are non-verbal vocal cues that help you to give urgency to your voice. Your voice is your trademark. It is the part of yourself that adds human touch to your words. When we are talking about the nuances of voice dynamics that will help you or the speaker to make his oral presentation impressive. In order to control the audience, the speaker has to adopt certain strategies. Primary among them is the use of language. The speaker should speak a language which is close to the participants. Clarity is the key word in oral presentation. Writing does not have the immediacy because the words are static on the page. Voice gives extra life to your delivery. Therefore, you may find it useful to understand the nuances of voice dynamics, which are: the first one is pronunciation, the second is modulation of voice, the third is pace or rate, and the final one is the use of connectives. By pronunciation, we mean the words should be pronounced clearly with proper stress and intonation. The second point, which is modulation of voice, and that will include voice should be vibrant and well modulated. Nasalization of voice should be avoided. Pauses should be at the right places to make it more emphatic. The third point is pace or rate, which directs towards the words spoken per minute. Rate is the number of words which you speak per minute. It varies from person to person, and from 80 to 250 words per minute it could be. The normal rate is 120 to 150 words per minute. If a person speaks too slowly and monotonously, he is mostly likely to be considered a dull speaker, even though the content of his speech is highly interesting. Similarly, a fast speaker also causes discomfort because the listeners do not get time to grasp the thought and switch from one thought to another. Under these circumstances, listeners may just stop listening and their attention may get lost. Therefore, it is best to vary your speaking pace, use pauses to create emphasis. A well-placed, varied message suggests enthusiasm, self-reliance, and awareness of audience. The fourth aspect is use of connectives. These are the various kinds of connectives which are used in oral presentations. There are actually words or phrases which indicate the end of one thought and shift to another. Even rise and fall in tone can serve this purpose of connection or being a connective. For example, after having said that, it is now to, in addition to, these are phrases which can act as connectives, and if we present them with falling pitch, that will indicate the end of speech. So that's all with the dimensions of speech. I hope you found it helpful. Stay tuned to the channel of ASH, Faculty of Engineering and Technology. Thank you so much.